And what's up everybody, this is Hawaiian Air 2121. Today we have a massive unboxing, really some nice model airplanes to cover today. We have some Phoenix models, NG models, and GeminiJets models, and one 200 scale JC Wings model. Really excited to cover these massive unboxings. I like editing them, and we have this new stand right over here, which I'm super excited to show you guys. Without further ado, let's begin today's video. Alrighty, so to start us off for today's video, we have this JetBlue Airways Airbus A320 and the new Spotlight livery. And I did showcase this model once in my Houston IAH International Airport update. So if you haven't checked that out, I would highly recommend you guys check it out. This model is a fantastic model. It's by Phoenix Models, and we're going to review it just in a little bit. I did pick it up at the Newark Airlines show doing business as executive display desktop models in Englishtown, New Jersey. So this is a very sexy model. I'm really excited to review it. We're going to do a quick examination of the box. The box is a very detailed box. The registration is November 554 Juliet Bravo, and as we can see, this is in a new Spotlight livery by JetBlue Airways. So this was a really exciting pickup for me. And I did get this new stand, so we're going to take a look at the model right now. The model itself is in perfect condition. It looks really solid. And let's take a look at the model itself over here right now. And if we could tell, I'm going to turn the stand on right now. And as we can see, this is a very sexy model airplane. It's a very detailed model airplane. And as we can see, we have lots of detail. We have lots of antennas on this model aircraft, and including a SATCOM box, which is shaded in the right color of gray. So over here is the model aircraft, and we're going to take a quick examination of it in greater detail. I'm going to zoom in the camera, and as we can see over here, we have the Blue Yorker title right over here to the nose cone of the plane. Nose cone looks pretty good. We have the JetBlue new Billboard titles. This is similar to the old livery. Originally, JetBlue had titles right above here, but they expanded to the new Billboard titles. As we move along the aircraft, we can see that the aircraft is in a blue livery. It's all blue, and that's one of the features I really like about this JetBlue model airplane. Rolling rubber tires are perfect on this model aircraft, and then we have lots of antennas. Registration again, November 554 Juliet Bravo, and we have the Airbus A320 logo right over here. One thing that I love about the new JetBlue livery is that they're expanding upon the winglets and sharklets of the model aircraft. This winglet right over here has the same orange that right over there. So I really like that JetBlue Airways is kind of combining the new tails and putting it on the winglets of the model aircraft. Let's take a look at the other side of the airplane. And as we can see over here, we can see just lots of detail over here. We even have some belly antennas, which is nice to see. And we have, again, the JetBlue Billboard titles, 2 emergency exit arrows located on the wings. Lots of wing flap detail right over here, perfectly detailed wings, and the wing flap isn't horrible on this model aircraft. It's perfect. Registration again, American flag, as JetBlue is an American carrier. And the Spotlight tail, I'll go into a little bit of detail about. We have some white over here, then we have some blue. Overall, this is a very nice model airplane. So over here is a better look at just the top of the aircraft, and then the aircraft, you have 3 antennas, 1 over here and 2 over here. We have the Wi-Fi dome, and one thing that I really like is that Phoenix Models incorporated the new SATCOM box, the gray. It's not a white, it's more of a grayish color, and that's realistic to the prototype of this aircraft. 2 emergency arrows right over here and right over here, and then as mentioned earlier, we have the Spotlight tail, which corresponds to the winglet of this model aircraft. One thing that I also noticed right over here is that the engines don't say JetBlue.com anymore. That might be an older feature of the old livery aircraft. And one final detail is that this does say Blue Yorker right over here. I would recommend this aircraft in a heartbeat. It's phenomenal, it's insanely detailed, and I think they're selling out very quickly like hotcakes recently. As we can see over here, this is a phenomenal detailed model aircraft. If I turn it around again over here, we could just really admire everything about this aircraft. It's colorful, vibrant, and it looks phenomenal. No complaints on this model aircraft. I would highly recommend it. And up next, we have this Delta Airlines Airbus A320 by NG Models, also picked up at the Newark Airlines show. I did showcase this model in Detroit, so if you haven't checked that out, I would highly recommend checking that out. I did work very, very hard on making Detroit DTW. I do plan on making more airport updates of Detroit in the future. I got this model specifically for Detroit because Delta Airlines, I needed more Delta Airlines aircraft. And it looks pretty good in the photos. This is the NG models version. Box art is very, very detailed in this model airplane. And let's take a look at the model aircraft right now. Again, this is by NG Models. I believe it was like released back in like last year. So some features, we have all the awards that Delta has won right over here. We have the Delta Airlines titles. Then we have rolling rubber tires as always on NG Models aircraft, which is really, really nice to see. Rolling rubber tires, again, perfectly detailed engines. Everything's perfect about this model airplane, really. Registration is going to be N520 US, N320 US rather. And then we have the Wi-Fi dome right over here. We have the really, really detailed Delta Airlines tail right over here. I do have the GeminiJets version of this model airplane. I wanted to try out the NG version just to beef up the Delta fleet in a way. And this is a very, very detailed model airplane. I really, really like it a lot. Let's take a look at the other side of the model airplane. And just looking about it, we have metal stabilizers right over here and right over here, which is nice to see. Again, we have the Wi-Fi dome right over there. And let's take a look at this model airplane. It's spinning again because I forgot to stop it. And over here is the other side of the aircraft. Really, this is more of an asset purchase for me. It's a very, very detailed model airplane, don't get me wrong. But it's more of an asset purchase for me just because I already had a Delta Airlines Airbus A320. And it's a really, really nice model airplane. Just kind of simple in a way, but it's really, really nice. So over here we have the engines right over here, insanely detailed as well. We have the emergency exit arrows right over here and right over here. Again, NG Models does not disappoint with their wing flap detail right over here, right over here. It's very, very detailed, the model airplane. Would recommend it before it sells out. This was their last version of the Delta Airlines Airbus A320, and it's a very, very nice model airplane. Would recommend it. The nose cone is perfect. And then we have the SkyTeam emblem right over here. Additional details, there is some belly antennas, and it does say Delta on the bottom of this belly. Overall, I would recommend this airplane. And our next model aircraft, these all came from DGPilot.com, and currently you could save up on the GeminiJets June pre-orders at DG Pilot by using coupon code HI10. We have this WestJet Airways Boeing 737-600. This was, I believe, in the March GeminiJets pre-orders, and I got this model because I wanted to do some more retro projects. I know WestJet retired their 600 fleet, but I did want this model for retro projects. It's a standard GeminiJets box, nothing special. We have the computer-generated image of the model right over here. WestJet, Boeing 737-600 titles. Let's unbox this model aircraft. So over here, as mentioned earlier, is the WestJet Airlines Boeing 737-600. And NG Models did make a version of this one about a couple years ago. I think Panda Models also made a version of this. Missed out on both of those. So you have to settle for the GeminiJets version. I did pick this model up for retro projects. As mentioned earlier, WestJet retired their 737-600 fleet, which was a shame, but I did get this model for retro projects. As we can see, we have the WestJet titles right over here. They are in the old livery, and then we have the plastic horizontal stabilizers right over here. They're not metal, so that's really, really a shame to see. I wish Gemini would improve on that. We have the WestJet tail right over here. Registration, which is going to be C-GWSL. We have the Canadian flag right over here. I'll zoom in that right now, as WestJet is a Canadian carrier. This is a pretty detailed model airplane for the price that I got it. I got it for like around $35, so there's a pretty good price for the model aircraft. We have the Boeing 737-600 titles right over here. Again, Canadian flag. And then we have the registration right over here. Beautifully detailed Wi-Fi dome. I will give GeminiJets that they gave a very, very nice Wi-Fi dome, and then two antennas right over here. Unfortunately, GeminiJets got rid of the belly antennas on this model aircraft, and I was not sure if this was a new prototype mode for the 737-600. Over here, if we rotate the aircraft, Really loving this new stand, by the way. This is a very, very detailed model airplane. It's a pretty nice mold of it. I'm sure the NG models or Panda model version would be a little bit better because, as mentioned earlier, this aircraft has plastic horizontal stabilizers. And in addition, there are other caveats such as no belly antennas. Well, we're going to take a look at the nose cone next. Looking at the nose cone of this aircraft, we have some black accent detail right over here, which I do like. That's typical of what you'll see with WestJet Airlines aircraft. And I would recommend this model aircraft. It's in pretty good shape. Some of the details such as plastic horizontal stabilizers, no belly antennas, a little detail on the belly, and rolling rubber tires that don't really roll. Some of those could be improved upon. But I think the NG models version is sold out, and the Panda models version is kind of hard to find. So I would say if you're looking for a retro aircraft just like this one, I'd say get it. Let's move on to the next model aircraft. And our next model airplane, I bought this in DG Pilot as well. We have this American Eagle Bombardier -AQ-100 in the Piedmont livery. This aircraft is also retired, but I do need it because I will be doing Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport updates and need it to beef up my American Eagle fleet. I will use it even though it is retired. And overall, this model is pretty good. I do like this model as well. This model was released, I think, a while ago back last year, but it is a really, really colorful aircraft. I love the Piedmont special livery, and I didn't even know it existed before GeminiJets made it. So let's take a look at this model aircraft right over here. One thing that I do like are these ExpressJet propellers. I think the propellers are pretty cool on this model aircraft. Also, the nose is perfectly detailed on this model aircraft. It isn't angry just as the GeminiJets Aer Lingus ATR-42. I wouldn't recommend looking at it if you haven't already looked at that model aircraft, as that nose cone is really angry. The windows aren't too slanted on this model aircraft, and I really like the propellers of this model airplane. So over here is the American Eagle Bombardier -AQ-100, and I really like the colors of this model aircraft. I would recommend it even though it is retired because the coloring job on this model aircraft is insane. It's really detailed. We have the Piedmont special livery tail right over here. I love the baby wheels over here, by the way. I think they're really nice. Really detailed. Registration is over here, as American Eagle is an American carrier. Propellers that actually spin, I don't really want to touch them, but they do spin. And one thing to note is that the model is a little tail heavy, but that really isn't something I can control. It's a very detailed model aircraft. We have the One World's emblem right over here. American Eagle on the belly of the plane right over there. And I'm going to turn the aircraft right now. I believe these are metal, by the way. And I got this model because I did need it for retro projects, including Phoenix Sky Harbor projects. I think it's a really detailed model airplane, and I do like it a lot. I would recommend it. There's really nothing wrong about this model aircraft. I think it's insanely detailed. I'm really hoping that GeminiJets makes more ExpressJet and regional airlines and aircraft, as they're the only manufacturer that makes them. Overall, I would recommend this model airplane because it's really detailed. And coming up next, we have the 1:200 scale Continental Express Bombardier CRJ200. This model airplane is such a sentimental aircraft to me. It's Continental Airlines. Loved Continental Airlines. This was my favorite airline, and it's just, I always remember seeing these at Newark. So I really had to pick this model up. This is by JC Wings in 1:200 scale, and it's a really nice model airplane. Looking at the box, I like the box a lot. We have the Continental colors, we have the CGI of the image, Continental Express, and then Bombardier CRJ200. Let's look at this model airplane. Oh baby, look at this model airplane. It's everyone's favorite model aircraft, the CRJ200. Such a luxurious and spacious airplane in real life. No, it's not. But anyway, this model airplane is a very sentimental purchase for me. Again, as mentioned earlier, Continental was my favorite airline, and I always remember flying these. And this model airplane is insanely detailed. Again, it's a 1:200 scale by JC Wings. Starting us off with the Continental Express titles, red beacon light right over here. Really like to see that detail in 200 scale. We have some antennas right over here, And then we have the Star Alliance logo. Many of you may be confused why Continental would have a Star Alliance logo. That is because they merged with United, and Continental was once part of SkyTeam before they merged with United and Star Alliance. We have the Continental, I'm not sure what this icon is, I've seen it in every Continental Airlines aircraft. It's a Continental logo right over here. Again, Continental Express titles right over here. Windows right over here. Registration is going to be N678, I believe CW. Registration actually is not that. If registration is going to be, again, if I could find it on the box, it's going to be N678WCR, whatever it is. I'm not sure really what the registration is on this model airplane. I can't really see it. But then we have the Continental globe right over here. I really like this Continental livery. It was solid, sexy, and ultimately I loved it. Unfortunately, in 200 scale, you still find plastic horizontal stabilizers. These are plastic. That's really unacceptable in 200 scale. You're paying a lot more money for the model airplane. Unacceptable to see that in 200 scale. If I knew about it at the time, I still would purchase this just because this is Continental, but otherwise I'd switch to the NG version. We have some arrows right over here by the emergency exit right over here. And if I turn the model airplane, we can see just the gorgeous aspects of this model airplane. Really like the CRJ200, not in real life because it's such a tiny aircraft, but it's really nice in this model, and I really am digging the detail of this model aircraft. Nose is perfectly detailed. We have some belly antennas as well, and this is a really classic model airplane for 200 scale. I really want it for my display collection. Look at the model airplane. Again, this model came with a stand I left in the box, but it came with a very detailed metal stand. And this is a very nice model airplane. It's really detailed, and if you're looking for retro aircraft, I would highly recommend this Continental Express CRJ200. Pretty sure it's sold out in a lot of places. It's sold out at DG Pilot, and I would recommend it just because it looks fantastic. Continental Express Airlines aircraft were very hard to come by. They're typically sold out, so I really had to get this model once I found it available. I would recommend this model airplane because it's a really nice job by JC Wings. And our next model is this Emirates Airlines Airbus A380-800 in the new livery. I got this model specifically because LAX did so well on my channel, so thank you all for the continued support of my videos, especially for LAX. LAX did phenomenal. As I do plan to make LAX a monthly series, I do plan on having some more international carriers, such as this aircraft right over here. Emirates flies constantly into LAX, and especially with their A380, so it's really kind of a necessity for me to have this for LAX. Couple things to note is that the box is extremely detailed. I love the new box design, especially for Emirates planes, specifically because it's a officially licensed product, as seen right over here. You have this kind of nicer box, if you will, than the standard GeminiJets boxes. I'm sure Todd and Elliot are happy to have another Emirates planes, the founders of GeminiJets, because I have a lot of Emirates Airlines planes, and it looks really solid. However, let's take a look at the features of this model airplane. We have such as the Emirates Billboard titles, and let's take a look at the features. To showcase some of the features on this Emirates A380, we have the new Emirates Billboard titles. The titles on Emirates planes, I believe the old livery were also Billboard, but it doesn't say www.emirates.com, so it's a little bit more of a Billboard style. We have the Airbus A380 titles right over here. Wheels, they roll okay, they're not terrible. And if we move along, we have some detail. We have some antennas right over here. We also have a Wi-Fi dome on the A380. Finally, GeminiJets finally includes a Wi-Fi dome on the Airbus A380. Most importantly is this new tail right over here. This new tail looks phenomenal on the A380. It's big. You have the red, the green, and then the black. Kind of, again, the Aeroflot design. And you have some detail on the tail. Metal stabilizers, which is nice to see. And then you have these red winglets on the airplane right over here. And right over here, let's take a look at the aircraft again. And it looks really solid, this aircraft. It looks phenomenal. There are some quality control issues on this plane. The wings were a little bit loose, and that's kind of one of the quality control issues that I found typical with GeminiJets models. However, it looks really, really solid. I really am digging the model. It's huge in person. Would be interested to see if this plane in 1/200 scale. Hint, I might be going to some store to check it out. And it's a really nice model. I love the engines, the red winglets right over here. And the nose looks pretty good on the A380 as well. Overall, would I recommend this plane? I know Aviation 400 made it. I like the GeminiJets version of it, minus the quality control issues. It does look pretty good. A couple other things to note are that the belly does have the red Emirates right over there, and it looks pretty solid, the model. I'm digging the new livery a lot on the A380. I was a little bit hesitant about the new livery originally, however, it looks really solid. I would recommend this model airplane. Saving the best model possibly for last, we have this Gemini 200 ultra rare gem, the Gemini 200 Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-800 in the Canyon Blue livery. Wow, this model is really stunning. You know, I've had this model a couple months in my collection now, and I've never really unboxed it, so I figured it does deserve a little unboxing here. This model I did find at the Newark Airlines show for a whopping price of $100. Quite the steal if you think about it. This model is the Warrior 1 as indicated right over here, and it's quite the steal considering this is a Canyon Blue Southwest in 200 scale. Super rare model over here. Let's get to some detail of this model aircraft right now. Again, this is in the Canyon Blue livery, and it's an officially licensed Southwest Airlines product. I have this model in 1/400 scale, and I figured why not get in 200 scale for the price being $100. So anyway, we have the Warrior 1 emblem right over here. This is a classic Gemini 200 model. Because I say that because this model was released all the way back in 2013. So you don't really get any of the quality control errors that you get nowadays with GeminiJets. Antenna right over here. I kind of say this as a surprise again just because it's so stunning, this model aircraft. L1 boarding door, and if I really move the aircraft along, has a little bit of rolling rubber tires. We can admire its gorgeous little appearance right over here. Red beacon light, which is super cool to see. Antenna, and then we have the registration November 830 Juliet, and then we have the Southwest gorgeous tail right over here with the Canyon Blue tail. This is a stunning product, and I would recommend this model if you could find it. If you could find it for the price, because it's such a stunning model. Let's turn the stand on and see it's gorgeous. How gorgeous this model really is. Ooh, I'm in love with this model aircraft right now. This is something else, this model airplane. And here's just a look at the model aircraft again. We could just see how gorgeous this model airplane is. I'm turning around on the stand. We could really admire its gorgeous appearance right over here. Metal horizontal stabilizers, unlike the Continental aircraft. It's pretty big in size, about 6 inches. And then we have the Southwest.com Southwest winglets right over here. Beautifully detailed model aircraft, and I had it for my collection for a couple months. Never really used it because I don't really collect 200 scale model airplanes, but I do plan on doing 1/200 scale model airport in the future. Really sexy, this plane. It's really stunning. We have the wheels. The wheels on this model aircraft are red, which is really nice to see. You can see it a little bit over here. They're red over here. Then we have the red wingtips right over here. Emergency exit arrows right over here. Overall, this model is really nice. Now, this Gemini 200 Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-800 did come with a Gemini 200 stand, which surprisingly is the better of the two Gemini 200 stands. Typically, GeminiJets, their new 200 scale models, come with a little crappy stand, if you will. It's not really that great of a stand. But this stand is a pretty good stand, and also did come with a detachable wings, so that this part of the aircraft can come off, if you will. I can show you right now, actually. So if I unbox it right over here, we can see it. This stands right over here is the better of the two stands that come with the model. And then we also have some detachable wheels right over here. I don't really want to touch the model, however, just because it kind of get damaged, and this is such a rare aircraft, so don't really want to touch that part of it. So if you do find this model, I would not recommend changing the gear rather. And then I'm just gonna package it up. Gemini 200 does a fantastic job packaging their models. All you have to do is just click it, but I don't really want to damage the model. So, and transport, just like it was, I'm probably just gonna put it right over here. So if we could just admire the Southwest Airlines aircraft right over here. Again, this is in the Canyon Blue livery, and there's a lot of features to it. We have the red wheels, we have the Wi-Fi dome, perfectly detailed. I think we have a couple of antennas right over here actually, and really this is a stunning model. I would highly recommend it. Again, this is a new Warrior 1 livery, and I did pick this up a couple months ago, so it's a little dusty, but with a little cleaning it should be fine. Overall, I would highly recommend it. I will be using this in a 1/200 scale airport that I will be doing down the road. Not sure when I will do that project, but eventually I would like to do a 1/200 scale airport with this model because it looks fantastic. I know NG Models is doing their Southwest 738s, so I'm praying they do a Canyon Blue livery because I would definitely compare these two. This is a fantastic model, however, nonetheless, the GeminiJets version. I would highly recommend it in a heartbeat if you could find it. And that wraps up today's massive unboxing. I really hope you guys enjoyed this new editing style with the stand over here. It was a lot of fun making it, I have to say. And just as a recap, we have the JetBlue Airways Airbus A320. Expect to see that in Fort Lauderdale airport updates, as well as JFK and other airport updates. We have the Delta Airlines Airbus A320, the WestJet 737-600, the American Eagle Dash AQ100, great for retro projects, the Continental Express CRJ200, everyone's favorite aircraft, the Emirates A380, and what's shown on the big screen right over here, the Southwest Airlines Canyon Blue 738, shown here as a surprise. This is a fantastic model, by the way. I hope you guys enjoyed this new editing style, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already, as we're on the road to 1,500 subscribers. This is Hawaiian Air 2121 signing off. Have a good one.